Okay, so hopefully you have a picture. Print it out. Like this one. I'm sorry, mine are shiny. They're laminated. If you didn't end up with one, your teacher has some extras that she can loan you to use for this project. And then the next step is to draw realistically. I like to teach you to work with a grid. And we're just doing a simple grid, not a lot of different grid lines, but just a couple. So to get that set up, you have to create your paper in the same proportion that your original photo is. So to figure that out, you measure your photograph and you measure the actual photo. You don't measure the paper. So like if there's white edges, don't measure that part. And so this one is 7 1/4 this way. And then I measure the other way and it is 5 3/4. Okay. And so I want to get this to basically be about twice the size. Should be fine. So take it times 2. So 7 1/4 times 2 is 14 1/2. Okay. And hopefully you can figure that out. And then the other side, what was it? I already forgot. 5 3/4. So 5 times 5 is 2. 3/4 times 2 is 1 1/2. So I add those together. 5 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. I said that funny. 3/4 times 2 is 1 1/2. So I add that together. I get 11 1/2 by 14 1/2. So that is what my paper should be cut to. If your teacher doesn't have paper big enough for yours, you can call me or email me and I will cut one for you and have it run up to you. Okay. So you get your paper 2 times bigger, you get your picture set like this. You're going to take your photograph and just fold it in half like that. And then you're going to fold it in half again the other way and fold it really nice and neat. And so you'll end up with a crease in it and you'll have 4 equal squares. And you can take your ruler or a Sharpie and go over those lines if you want to. But like in mine, you can see it pretty good. So you can see the 4 equal squares. Okay. Then you would take your paper, and this is not the right paper, guys. So I just don't, I'm doing this at home and I don't have a big piece of paper. But I know that my paper is 11 1/2 one way. And I know that half of 11 1/2 is 5 3/4 because I multiplied 5 3/4 by 2 to get 11 1/2. So I know that if I divided it by 2, I would end up with that same number, 5 3/4. So I'm going to measure across my paper 5 3/4, okay, with the ruler, and I'll make a little mark. And then I would do the same thing at the bottom, measure across 5 3/4, make a little mark. And then I will take my ruler, line it up with those 2 pencil marks, and lightly draw a line. And that should be right down the middle. It should divide it in half. So step back from it, look at it, make sure it looks like it's in half, and then make that pencil line very light. And then go the other way, which would again be the same measurement as your original photo. So mine was 7 1/4. So I'd measure across 7 1/4 at the top and the bottom of that side, and then use my ruler and go across that way. So then I should have 4 equal squares on my paper with pencil, very light, and 4 equal squares on my drawing. Okay. And the way we do that, the reason we do that is to give us reference points. So when I go to draw, I go, okay, I know that the top of my number 2 is almost near my grid line. And so if I use my finger here and say this is about half a finger width, I know then that it's a full finger width on my paper because everything is times 2. Or you could actually use your ruler and go, that's 1/8 of an inch. I know 1/8 of an inch times 2 is 1/4. So I know that I'm 1/4 of the way down on my drawing. Okay, so I can do it that way. I can kind of eyeball it too. I know that this is halfway down on my picture. So halfway down on my square would be the bottom of my 2. I know that this is about 1/3 of the way across here on my picture, so that I know about 1/3 of the way across on my drawing would be the side of my 2. So this is called using reference points for drawing. So that is how I want you to draw it out, okay? I want you to draw really nice and light and really look at your reference points. And so if I was drawing along and I couldn't get this ball here to touch the top, then I'd know that I'd done something wrong and I need to erase and fix it. Because this ball should touch the top here, and it should be about halfway across here, and it should be almost down to my midline on my drawing, okay? If I can't get it that way, then I need to make adjustments. Don't just go, oh, it looks good enough. No, try to make it look exactly the way it's supposed to look. That's what you're looking for, is realism on this still life, okay? So that is how to get your paper set up and start drawing on this. And then you want to get everything drawn out, all the outlines of everything. So I would draw the shoe outline, and then I would draw the lines where the colors change on that. I would draw the outline of the jersey, and I would draw the numbers in that one. On the ball, I would draw the outline of the ball and the outline of the U and the A. Okay, does that make sense? So that's called doing your contour lines. So it's kind of like, think of it as making for yourself your own coloring page. You are drawing the outside edges of everything, and then you will color that in later. But you're making edges. You're making the coloring lines for yourself. That's what you're creating with your pencil. Nice and light, because we don't want them to show later. Okay, good luck with that. We'll do another video in a little bit about how to color. Okay, bye.